Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video. We just barely got the Kindred reveal. I'm going to look at it. I've not seen this at all. We're going to go ahead and look through the little clip that they have here, and then we'll head on over to Mobalytics to see all of the cards as usual and see what kind of synergy we have potentially with Nasus. I imagine Kindred's going to have the Slay ability just like Nasus does. So let's go ahead and look at it.
Never one
without the other. Shall we, dear wolf?
Alright, Kindred has Quick Attack, a 5 mana from Shadow Isles, also as we expected. Kindred thematically is one of the coolest champions in the game, I think. Such a cool champion. Yeah, let's see what else Kindred can do. So Kindred has Quick Attack. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill my marked enemy. Wow. The first time you slay a unit each round, I mark the weakest enemy, and then at the round end, you kill the marked enemy. Alright, so you have the potential each round. Well, you're going to be focusing on killing enemies so that you can kill more enemies, which is very interesting. And then, of course, this synergizes just with Nasus because we're killing multiple units every round. Very similar to kind of like, oh, similar in a way to Arl the Tracker, where if you target her with a spell, she strikes at the end of the round another unit. This is kind of like the same sort of concept where we are including spells and things in the deck, or we could even have challengers or any way to kill another unit just to proc these abilities. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's not like Kindred has to kill the other unit. She just gets the ability to kill another one if one has already died, which is pretty cool. All right, level up. I've seen you slay 2 of my marked enemies. All right. So this is kind of where it gets interesting all of a sudden is the opponent's ability to actually block you from killing units, right? So you mark an enemy. I imagine that you can put them like in stasis statue. You can kill them off yourself, right? Now does it count if they are marked and you kill them before the end of the round? Does that count towards the level up? That's an interesting question. I don't know. So like if they try to, for example, they're running Shadow Isle as well, a Spiderling is marked and they use Glimpse Beyond to kill it themselves. Okay. And so to stop them from using Glimpse Beyond, you use Vile Feast and kill it with Vile Feast. Does that count as slaying the marked enemy, or does it have to be at the end of the round? Very interesting question. We'll have to see how this. Maybe we'll get some sort of clarity on that in the clip here. All right, a 4/4 is a little bit understated, but she's kind of like a control engine that we're seeing here, so kind of cool.
ready, little lamb.
Quick attack's a nice bonus too. Alright, Lamb's Respite. Or is it Respite? A slow speed 2-cost spell. Give the weakest ally. I can't take damage or die this round. Alright, so this is kind of similar to other cards that we've seen in the past. So we've got very similar to Unyielding Spirit. This is very similar to Survival Skills. The Terex, I guess, ability once he levels up as well, except for that we have very limited control of where this goes. It goes on the weakest ally, which is kind of interesting. How often is it important to keep your weakest ally alive? Maybe if you're running like a Teemo deck, it'd be important, but like, I don't know. The weakest ally generally isn't doing a whole lot except being a chump blocker, so we get some value out of it. It's interesting for sure, but I don't know how good this card would actually be to include as a card in the deck. It's an epic card too.
Threads of fate unraveled and rewoven.
Death is another beginning. A 5-cost fast speed spell, Spirit Journey. Kill a unit, then revive it. Alright, so here we're getting more more kill synergy. We've had these sort of cards before. Very similar to is it Chronicler of Ruin? Kill a unit, then revive. This is basically just a 5-cost Chronicler of Ruin. And I mean, that gets play. This is a spell, so we're delving into spell mana a little bit. Chronicler of Ruin is a forecast, so we do have to pay a little bit more for this, but at the expense of a fast speed spell is actually, I think, pretty good. If Chronicler of Ruin fits in Anivia decks, I imagine this would as well, because we have some sort of interactability during combat, and I think that is actually pretty strong. Oh, wait, was it an enemy or is it any unit? That makes it a lot stronger. Kill a unit, yeah. So it's actually any unit. That's very interesting. So this will stop level ups. So like Twisted Fate, and they just use it on Lucian. So yeah, you can use it on your own or the opponent. So this is actually a lot stronger than Chronicler of Ruin. A lot stronger.
An interplay of shadow like dappled sunlight.
And then they mark the Garen or Kindred. That's pretty good.
That was fun. Who will we chase now?
Everyone.
Alright, Kindred levels up. Still has quick attack, a 5/5 now. The first time you slay a unit each round, grant me +2/+2, and I mark the weakest enemy. Round end, kill my marked enemy. Alright. Still pretty much the same champion. She's just granted +2/+2. Now that's not the best. I mean, it's every round though. So again, it's very similar to Nasus gaining stats as well. So this, like, we were looking at Nasus and what kind of decks he could potentially fit into, and Atrocity seems like the best deck. And Kindred's kind of looking the same way. I don't think it's going to be super hard to level her up. And then each round slaying a unit as well. If you have like the slay package with and all of these damaging spells, I don't think it's going to be hard to get her to a stat where Atrocity is going to be deadly for the opponent. So it kind of is looking like another Atrocity sort of synergy here. It's not like her stats are going to be able to be kind of nullified at this point in the game. She's got quick attack, so she's not going to be taking damage unless they've got hushes or silence. And I mean, that would happen either way, but the quick attack really isn't going to be making contact with the Nexus. It's just going to be taking out units, which I guess counts as like the kill, and then it will mark another unit. Man, this is an interesting card. It puts a ton of pressure on the opponent, right? Because they have to deal with her. If she keeps on killing cards every round, then like you're just going to be clearing out cards. This control is actually kind of crazy, I think.
Dear wolf.
Hunt it down.
With grace and precision.
Here the chase ends.
More lie ahead.
Right. Music's kind of creepy too, so that's kind of cool. Alright, and that's it. So let's go ahead and see if Mobalytics has the other cards yet. Kindred, just like I said, thematically is just a really cool card, I think. Really cool champion. I really like yeah, just really everything about Kindred thematically. Okay, Kindred, same thing. We got quick attack, Spirit Journey. So this is her signature spell, which is actually, I think this is pretty strong, especially with this slay mechanic. And also you can use it on your own units as well as like a protection. That's so cool. And on champions, I think this is actually a really good card. Yeah, just like protects you. You can use it on the enemy, just stop their level up and stuff. That's really cool. All right, let's go over to this forecast card here, Spirit Leech. Kill an ally to draw 2. This is a 4 damage, 1 health unit. So this is just kind of like a glimpse of beyond with a body. So we're basically paying two additional mana to use like to get a unit out for a glimpse beyond, which is yeah. The health stat really gets me though. Let's see here. The first time you slay a unit each round. All right, so that makes a little bit more sense. So this isn't the first time you slay an enemy unit each round. This is the first time you slay a unit each round. That's really cool. It's just like the ability to get slay procs off of both your own units and the enemies, I think is awesome. makes it a lot more easy to build decks around, I think, because you can do kind of the self-sacrifice route, or you can do the damage and damage the enemy route, which is pretty cool. All right, which works with things like Ezreal and targeted abilities and things like that. And we have made Piltovers on Shadow Isles decks in the past, and we're getting more targeted spells that we can use for Ezreal level up, which is really cool. Spirit Leech, kill an ally to draw 2. So I mean, this I think works in the Slay package as it is. Getting a body is really nice, and then drawing 2 is nice as well. Just you need a body for the unit to be able to be put down. So there is the chance that it kind of is just awkward in your hand if you don't have units out, but depending on how the deck is constructed, I think will determine whether or not this makes it into decks. Because yeah, if we're running a lot of spells and things to take out units, then maybe this card is not going to be so good because we're not going to have a lot of units in the deck to actually get the play proc on. But other than that, I think it's okay. If we include it in a deck just to draw 2, I think without Kindred in the Slay archetype, then I think this actually is a really good card. Think as well, this is kill an ally to draw 2, turn 4. This could potentially synergize with Twisted Fate. They're coming out at the same mana, which is a little awkward, but all the same, Go Hard was a pretty strong deck, and this is more card draw for that kind of archetype. All right, the Ether Fiend, a 0 or 6/4. I said 0/4 for a second. It's like a 7 cost 0/4. That better be good. The Ether Fiend. This is a pretty cool card. Looks like a Skeksis from oh, what's it called? The Dark Crystal. Go watch that if you haven't seen it. There's a new series on Netflix. It's a little strange. Just Jim Henson and puppets. The Ether Fiend, fearsome. Play effect: kill an ally to kill an enemy. All right. A little bit more Undying synergy here. We still get synergy with Kindred 2 and the Slay proc. It's coming out on turn 7 though. So very similar to, I mean, you can construct your deck around this sort of archetype once again. So I'm kind of comparing this to a Vengeance, right? Vengeance is a 7 mana card, fast speed spell. This is a play effect, so they still have, the ability to interact with it and kill their own unit and things like that. But if we include this in a deck with like Last Breath abilities, with the Undying, like I think this could make a little bit of sense. Clear out the enemy board. You get all the benefit from killing your Undying unit, and you get a kill off an enemy as well. Something that this also looks like is Crumble, and Crumble doesn't get a whole lot of play. It does fit here and there as maybe like a 1 or 2 off, but if it's too similar to Crumble, we get a body though. It's 2 turns later as well. I don't know. This is actually kind of hard to evaluate. Is it too slow at turn 7? It may be too slow at turn 7. And we don't have the convenience of spell mana to use something like Vengeance. So I don't know. Could be a little bit too slow here. It's fearsome. Yeah, I think this card's a little too slow. All right, 2 cost, Fading Icon. When I'm summoned, summon a prey. Okay, and prey is this. Hard to tell what it is, like a little fairy thing. A 0/1, 0 cost token card. This is a 2 cost spell, or 2 cost unit, Fading Icon. When I'm summoned, summon a prey. All right, so this is just like a, oh, interesting. This is just like a card that you can use as fodder for your slay mechanics. You just kill it. That's pretty funny, actually. I kind of like that. I think it's a good card, actually, for this sort of archetype. You're just creating another card in hand, so this could be used as a blocker for the opponent. So you're getting 2 cards out, right? Or summoning 2 cards for the Shadow Isles, and this is good for just kind of filling your board with units as well if you need a block, but you can also use it as a slay fodder, which is funny. All right, Mask Mother, creepy card. Fearsome card again, a 2/2 play, kill an ally to grant me its stats and keywords. On turn 2, wow. Fearsome. Interesting. So this is like a 2 cost card, but it's not a 2 cost unit, I don't think. We're not going to be playing this. We're not going, I mean, a turn 2 unit. We're not going to be playing it on turn 2. Like, how many 1-cost cards are there that you want their stats and abilities, right? Because, yeah, we've got other targets that we could use this on that would be, I think, a lot better. Being a fearsome is kind of awkward. So what's the payoff here of using Mask Mother? So it's a fearsome card, so it becomes less relevant later on in the game. If we're running like a fearsome deck, right? We are kind of aggro. We want to be kind of fast with things like spiders, and unless we have the ability to reduce their attack and get some attacks off, like with Nasus. So maybe this does hit Nasus decks. But like if we are playing Undying, for example, where we could get use out of this kill mechanic, we're increasing our stats, but like what turn are we going to have to be at for the Undying to be at a decent enough stat line to want to give it to the Mask Mother just to be blocked by a card that has enough health and or attack to block a fearsome card. So this was interesting to mess around with, I think, and I'm not sure how good it's going to be. Could be really good, and it could be not very good. It's an interesting card for sure, though. Okay, so we actually could use this on elusive units and things. What could we use this on? That it would be worth using it on. I don't know, like, Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure. This card could be good. It could be bad. I'm not really sure. I'd have to experiment with it. All right, Unto Dusk. Unto Dusk. All right. Burst speed, 2-cost spell, draw 1, Nightfall, another Nightfall card. Activate an ally's Nightfall effect, ignoring any targeted portions. Activate an ally's Nightfall effect, ignoring any targeted portions. So which ones are targeted? The Cloven Way. The Cloven Way is targeted, right? We draw 1. I have to like look at all the Nightfall cards. There's not a ton of targeted ones. The 6 costs from Targon, I forget the name right now, that targets an opponent and gives it elusive. Like that's one. So we would grant him elusive as well for that round. There's not a lot of cards that you would want to use this on. So I mean, it's interesting for sure. So like if we whiffed on a Nightfall card, we can use this later to activate it again. Is this actually worth it? Am I missing like a card here? I guess Aphelios. Aphelios would technically give you like another weapon, right? Another moon weapon or whatever it's called in hand, or should, right? Diana would give you challenger. I mean, this is better used on like the champions and things. I'm not really sure. This is interesting. I don't know if it's worth like the two mana for like, I don't know. Like Nightfall is kind of aggressive. This would slow you down a little bit, I think, especially since most of your Nightfall cards, if you're building a Nightfall deck appropriately, most of them would have been activated already anyway. The best thing to use this on is the champions, which is kind of situational, unless I'm missing a card. And then, oh yeah, Cygnus, I can't remember the second part, the 6 from Targon, like gets most of his ability power from giving another unit elusive, which he's not going to be able to do. And he's not used anyway that much in decks, so yeah, I don't know like if this is that good of a card. Very interesting. All right. Let's look at this. Song of the Isles, a burst, 2 cost again. Grant an ally lifesteal, fearsome, and ephemeral. Grant an ally lifesteal, fearsome, and ephemeral. And then this other card, Second Death, is just the token card for the whatever that vulture card is. Song of the Isles, a burst 2-cost spell. Grant an ally lifesteal, fearsome, and ephemeral. This is really just like grants an ally life still, right? Are you going to be using this on cards that why would you so why like if you're in a pinch and need life steal really really badly and you've got like a big unit, are you going to sacrifice this for the life steal? I don't know. This is very interesting again. Or like we could put this on units that are already ephemeral. Um but like the best unit to put that on would be the 3 cost with life steal already. Fearsome. I don't think this card is super good. I may be underestimating it, but I don't think it's that good. Uh yeah, I don't think it's that good. This is kind of like to use in ephemeral decks with ephemeral units already just for life still to increase your health just a little bit more. But like what's the best target that's on a unit that's already ephemeral? I guess the Shark Chariot or something. It's got three damage, so 3 health for 2 mana. Which I guess is okay. And fearsome, so it does have the ability to hit the nexus without being stopped. Um, yeah, the fearsome and ephemeral parts are the things that kind of get me, right. They're kind of like you don't want to really combine them together because you want your fearsome units to be able to hit the nexus over and over and over again. I feel like, and granting it ephemeral is just like okay, we get 1 hit with the fearsome unit, and then that's it, and then it's dead. I don't know. I don't think it's that good of a card. I could be wrong about that, but it seems like it's just going to be included in ephemeral decks. I don't really see it being used in other decks, except maybe like a one-off tech card in an aggro style deck that's going to allow you to stay alive just a little bit longer on like a blocking turn. But then like the fearsome's not used at all, which is awkward as well. So I don't know. These keywords just don't really match up to me, and they're not very cohesive keywords. All right, something like lifesteal, elusive, and ephemeral, I think would make a little bit more sense. All right, let's see here. Yeah, anyway, so that's all the cards. There's some here that are very interesting. I think that Fading Icon is a really good card. I think that the Spirit Leech is pretty good. I don't know that it's going to actually hit Kindred decks. It kind of depends once again on how the Kindred deck is going to be constructed, whether there's more spells or more units in it. So kind of dependent on the style of deck that you're running and the most efficient Kindred deck that there's going to be. I think Spirit Journey is really good. Lamb's Respite is kind of interesting. I don't know how good it's going to be. Why give the weakest ally I can't take damage or die this round? So I mean I think it's probably worthy of the 2 mana that you need to spend on it. I just don't think it's good enough to hit decks. Like in what situations do you want to keep your units alive? Unless it's like I said, Teemo. This can hit champions, but we don't see Teemo in Shadow Isles very often. Yeah, Spirit Journey is good. I really like the use of Spirit Journey on the opponents as well as yourself. And then Kindred seems pretty cool herself. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to. There's going to be a lot of ways to play Kindred. Nasus seemed a little bit linear to me in kind of his play style. Kindred is going to be a lot more I think flexible in the type of decks that she's going to be able to fit into. I see Piltover Zon, Shadow Isles. I even could see her in Noxus, and I could see her also in Shurima herself with all those vulnerable cards. Maybe even Demacia with vulnerable cards as well, and our units pulling in others and killing them. So combat strikes, things like that. So I see a lot more variability with Kindred than I do with Nasus, and that is what I like to see in a champion. Nasus is a little bit boring to me, but Kindred seems a little bit more interesting. Overall, pretty cool theme here. I'm excited to try out these cards. And yeah, that's probably about it. Where do you guys see Kindred landing? What kind of decks do you want to make with her? Go ahead and comment in the comment section. If you guys enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.